A lot of reasons why I was excited. Did we play a great, clean game? No, not a perfect game. We played pretty well with the ones that I wanted to see play well. Did we get a lot accomplished as coaches? Significant amounts. I think both from a schematic standpoint, we were able to work early in the game on a lot of different things. You might have noticed, for instance, offensively, we kind of went through some different systems by series. And so you had this up-tempo series, and you had this kind of controlled power series, and then this run-play-action series, and then this 2-minute series, and then this kind of a empty drop-back series. And, again, we're just kind of looking to impress upon our players different things and evaluate at the same time. We did the same thing on defense, where we worked a significant amount on some zone coverages, and that's not necessarily us in terms of all the things that we do. And so we had these ideas going in, and we wanted to stress our players along those lines in terms of maybe taking them outside of their comfort level and putting them in some other things. Not because we're searching, we just want to continue to take what we have and grow it up. And we were able to mix an awful lot of people in. As you probably noticed during the game, there were significant numbers of twos that were in the second series on both sides to see how they were going to play with the ones. And so we really never had our first groups back out on the field together after the first series. And that was good for us because it answered an awful lot of questions for us in terms of how those guys were going to play with that group. And so, again, very pleased. Made some things happen in the kicking game, which was exciting to see. I think we can continue to grow there. We had some mistakes that we've got to obviously correct, but again, those are with some other players that normally in those situations and those corrections obviously have been talked about before, but sometimes experience is the best teacher, right? Gives a lesson after the experience. And so we got a few of those in there. And so we're excited about this next week against Wake Forest. I think Jim Grobe at Wake, just what a remarkable job he's done there in that program. That program has struggled for years, as you know, and he brought it to relevance, has capped it off, obviously, with having some great seasons there. And I think one of the Jim is one of those coaches that I think across the country everybody looks at and they kind of aspire to be like him to some degree. Handles his staff, his players, his program in a very, very classy manner. And the thing that he's always done a great job of is he's taken his personnel and he has manipulated the systems to fit his personnel. And at one point in time, they were kind of a spread team. He was a wishbone guy at one point in time. Now he's gone back. Now he's gone into this pistol option stuff. A lot of teams are going to stress you with their players, and that's all they stress you with. Their guys are better than yours, and so they just kind of line up, and they don't ever stress you with schemes. They just stress you with their players. Jim's going to stress us with both, and so we've got to be ready on both sides of the football because offensively, as I mentioned, they're a pistol-oriented option team that's got a really, really fine receiver, a really nice quarterback. And then on defense, they're going to be an odd front, a true 50 defense with multiple coverages, zone pressures. A lot of these things are outside-the-box things that you really don't see that much, and so it's going to be a huge challenge on our players this week to transition against these new schemes. Got a really, really active nose guard. A corner that I really think is really, really a good player. And they're going to play hard, and they're going to play hard for 60 minutes, and they're going to play physical, and they're going to throw themselves around and do everything they can to win as a team. And so my hat's off to them. It's been fun watching them on video this week, and it's already been a week for me, obviously. It's only been – you guys are only on Tuesday. The number of hours that we put in generally the early part of the week, it's like we've already put in our 40-hour work week. But it's this is a good team. It's going to be a great challenge for us, and I'm excited about going and actually feeling what 73 degrees feels like too. And we don't really. I teased the quarterbacks here the other day. We're going to need some hand warmers for the game. So questions. Probably not very much, yeah. Having lived in North Carolina myself, there's not as humid as it is here.
Coach, there's got to be some excitement in kind of playing a new team this program's never faced before, and it's kind of cool to play a little bit of the unknown. And
yeah, I think that can help in preparation a little bit. I think, as you mentioned, this is our first meeting, first time most of my players have obviously not just been to Wake Forest, but been to the state of North Carolina, period. And great campus. It's kind of got an old college feel to it. Obviously, private campus, and it's really a beautiful campus, beautiful stadium, and our players will enjoy that. And as you mentioned, this is going to be, we go there, they come back here next year. This is the first game in a home-and-home series, and we're excited about getting some of those started with programs such as Wake Forest that I think do things kind of the right way.
It's hard to gauge how good their defense is against Presbyterian, but I saw where they only gave up 2 first downs, but they obviously played BC and pretty good capacity too on the defensive side. So
yeah, they're very, very active on defense. Their nose guard, Nikita Whitlock, he's from Wiley, Texas, and so a lot of my players know him, and he's a really, really dynamic player. But yeah, their defensive scheme is unique. It's interesting. They again will move through a significant number of coverages. They do a great job disguising them. And so it's going to be a real challenge for the quarterback and receivers, I think, this week in terms of coverage recognition and understanding kind of where things are at. A lot of times you can get into certain formations or certain personnel groupings and lock people into a coverage. And so that's kind of what we search for in the early parts of a game, is how people are going to play all these things, and that way we can get them locked down into a coverage, make things a little easier. But these guys don't get locked down into a coverage. They're going to roll through some things. And so we've got to do a good job of handling that. And we've got to do a good job of trying to contain. Josh Allen's going to have his hands full with his nose guard, and because they put him in a zero, and they kind of try to do everything that they can to keep him isolated. Zero techniques, head up on the center, and they try to do everything they can to keep the center isolated to where he's got to try to handle him all day long, and that'll be tough work.
I don't know that you tell us publicly, but I get the feeling you still are exposing more and more your offense, that we haven't seen everything you plan to do yet.
That would be true. That would be true. Yeah, there's still hopefully we don't ever become stagnant or stale. There's always some new wrinkles, some new things that you come up with. There's things that your players all of a sudden can accept that maybe they couldn't accept before from an understanding and a comprehension standpoint. So, yeah, we're continuing to grow the offense, and we've been through 2 really unique games. One where the game plan got changed, early, and we had to start adjusting. And then another one that was kind of a little bit all over the place, and it was still very protective of the quarterback. But I think based off the way Colton came out of the game, the way he feels right now, I think we're back to 100% Colton, and that's good. And Braley's feeling good right now. So consequently, from an offensive perspective, it's going to be a little easier for us to game plan around what we'd like to do rather than what we have to do.
Was it important for Colton to play that entire first half in that first series in the third quarter, just kind of get some momentum?
Yeah, I think it was because again, want to give him some more live work. He got obviously a significant amount against Oklahoma, but because of the injury, was not moving around, was not stepping through his throws as well, some of those kind of things. And again, having to deal. And so I wanted him to kind of have to go through that, take some hits, which he did. I protected him in preseason camp. It's one of only 3 times in my career that I've protected the quarterback during preseason camp. Now, I didn't have any intention of actually doing it, but when Braley became injured, all of a sudden it was pretty fundamental that I protect Colton. And I think that even Colton would tell you that as a quarterback, just like anything else, you need to play. You need to get hits. You need to have to escape pressure, and it can put a little rust on you. And I think he would have liked to have played better against Oklahoma. Some of that was injury-based. But also I wanted to make sure that he got enough snaps to where he was some of the things I needed to see him improve on. And I think I did see some of those things. And the more he played, the more comfortable he got. And the more comfortable he got, the more, the balls were being placed where they needed to be placed and so on.
With this Wake Forest option-like team, you talk a lot about bringing your guys over the sideline, and if they remember when they visiting. Can you try to compare a previous team that maybe y'all have faced?
There hasn't been any in relation to what we're getting ready to see this Saturday is completely different than anything that we've seen defensively since I've been here. Yeah, this is not. There's teams that have run some option against us. This is full-blown triple option. This is triple option, trap option, veer option. It's all the different option throws off of it. It's not based out of the wishbone. It's based out of the pistol, which some people are starting to do some of. But so this is not Georgia Tech or Army or Air Force or Navy style. This has got some differences to it, and it's going to be a real challenge. Because there's guys going all over the place. Part of the reason the pistol has had some impact is that it's hard because of all the movements and people crossing the ball in behind the quarterback and all those other kinds of things that you can't find the football and you can't see where all the new gaps are being created. So this is a huge challenge. I mean, we got to play great assignment football.
You talk about the base out of pistol and then Oklahoma kind of coming out.
Yeah.
The pistol. Do you think that will help prepare? You still look at it as such an odd, unique.
It will to some degree. We ran a little bit of pistol too. Ran this, quite a bit of it against Grambling this last week, but not pistol option. Now we have the ability to be able to do that, and so our defense has seen some of it before because we've run it before. Because that's part of kind of what Gene was talking about. We still have some things that that are still out there that we can do, but Oklahoma's was not pistol option. Theirs was just true pistol, downhill run, play action pass, occasional quarterback read off of it, and that's what they hurt us with was the quarterback read skip play. But this one's got receivers kind of tracking in behind to get into pitch relationships coming from front side players that might be just backing up to get into pitch relationship, and so they kind of come from every place. And again, we're going to have to do a great job in handling this thing from an intellectual standpoint.
Okay, so then can you reflect back on any of your previous stops? Are you seeing
Oh,
something
sure.
like this?
No, I quite honestly, we could get into this if we wanted to. I mean, our system's set up, and we have. And so the defense actually got some of this in the spring, this last spring, where we got into this for them. And just in preparation for this, we had a 20-minute segment where that's all we did was run all this different option football stuff at them, stuff that we can do. Because, again, I don't want to get cubbyholed into where we can't, if we have quarterback issues or other issues, I want to be able to transition. It's hard to do in-game sometimes because the guys haven't had any repetitions at it. But it's like this last week. Our offense looked a lot different this last week than it did against Oklahoma. And some of it was functional in relation to protecting the quarterback. Some of it was the idea that we could do some of these things. And so we can kind of go different directions. So, again, our defense has a comprehension of it because they've seen it extensively. But I think, both Troy, myself, many of the coaches on the staff that came from Army with me, we're kind of used to seeing all that option stuff between playing Navy and Air Force and even being at places where we ran the option. That I think we have some comprehension of it. This has got some uniqueness to it, again, but it's a little different than those things. But still, you have to play assignment football, and you have to get your secondary involved in run support, and all those kind of things are pretty fundamental in stopping the option. We understand that.
You guys seem to be bringing, at least in between the plays, to me chasing kids down. It seemed like you guys were bringing a lot more defensive pressure this past week. Are you going to have to pull back off of that a little bit?
No, not necessarily. There's different pressures, some that impact protections more so than they do run blocking schemes. And actually, early in the game we didn't bring a lot of pressures, which is kind of our deal. But we wanted to kind of sit back and let our guys kind of play some defense too, again, in terms of evaluating being able to have to get off of a block. And having to make a play in space, because so much of our defense is deception and attack increases and all that kind of thing. Sometimes our guys don't necessarily always have to get off of a block because they're attacking gaps. And we kind of wanted to see them get off a block a little bit. And so we didn't bring a lot of pressures early in that game. Now, as the game progressed and we were bringing more and more players into the game, we started bringing more pressures because we wanted to see them be a little bit more functional in the stuff that we kind of traditionally do. So there will be some – we're still going to be a pressure-oriented team, even against what we're getting ready to see. But now that doesn't mean that we have to do the exact same things we've done in the past, because, again, there's some blitzes that are just really more option blitzes rather than a blitz that's going to break down a protection.
I know it's only been 2 days, but do you feel a different skip in their hop, so to speak, with finally getting a W?
Not really. I don't really sense that a lot. I think our players are excited to play. I think our players are anxious to get back out on the field. I think this group, it tends to be much more businesslike than probably the other groups that had to kind of ride on emotion a little bit. This group tends to be a little bit more businesslike. But I think we are anxious, excited to kind of get someone else to play. And again, I think in relation to where we're traveling to and the newness of that, I think those things are going to be good things for us.
You said you were happy with the product on the field of last week. Are you happy with the entire game day experience and the crowd support you guys received?
It seemed I'm probably a really, really bad judge of that, quite honestly, because I see a little bit of it at a pregame warm-up, and people ask me about something that might have happened, in the game someplace, and I'll have no idea that even actually something happened. I very rarely even notice anything in the stands, because I think we all kind of get focused on kind of the task at hand. I've always told players and coaches both, hey, listen, the only time that if you've got 90,000 people in the stand is right when you run on the field. After that, it doesn't, as a coach, as a player, quite honestly, it could be 2,000 people. I mean, you're just so wrapped up in the game that it doesn't. In relation to the game day experience and the crowd and all that kind of thing, it seemed loud. I don't even know what the officials' numbers were in terms of what the attendance was. We're just going to go out and play our best we can, and then that's for other people to be concerned about. 20,600 or 23,600. You don't even know, Tabby.
I know it surpassed the Tulsa home opener, except for like 8th highest or something.
Okay.
Anyway.
I know the Grove was full. The players enjoy that walk through there, that kind of thing, which was great.
Talking about injuries, I think that I put that you had Cody Robinson back, so I figured everybody be back but Centarius, but then I got corrected by that through an email. Would there be some other people who might be held out?
No.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Okay. You got an email from me?
No.
Oh, I was getting ready to say yes.
Gamble?
Oh, Caleb's going to be out. I was thinking more in terms of the two deep, in terms of the positions. Yeah, but Caleb's had a lower body injury last week in practice. Kind of got tangled up going up for a ball and came down a little funny. And so we're still kind of in the process of trying to find out exactly what the requirements are on this.
And Cordero?
I think Cordero, came out in the first quarter. But just based off yesterday and today, I think everything's fine with Cordero, and it's gonna be nice to have Cody back.
Are you guys excited about kind of getting an early start? Those 11:30 games are kind of sweet. You don't have to sit around the hotel.
They are, yeah. I think former players always understand that a little bit. Some of the, you're anxious to play, and you just on the night games you just sit around all day long, and you're trying to not get too excited because you don't want to burn yourself out before the game. It's hard not to, sometimes. And so, yeah, well, I'm excited about the early kickoff. Our players will be excited about it. And that's, back in that part of the country, because I used to coach over in that part of the country, the fan base, they'll show up early because that's kind of what they're used to, is they're used to early games rather than night games. Around here, we're used to night games. Back there, they're used to that, so they'll show up better for, an afternoon game they will for a night game.
Saturday night, Sunday morning, did you check out how Conference USA had fared against your Sun Belt schools, or what Baylor did?
I did check out Baylor, but I do not know. Someone said that Western Kentucky fumbled the ball pretty often, and that led to some issues or had turnovers. I'm not very good at that. I don't know that I could even tell you who else played who.
You took a sneak peek at Baylor then.
I did take a peek at Baylor because I knew that they were kind of the upcoming opponent. Plus, it was kind of, the number was pretty gaudy when I read it across the ticker, and so I kind of said, "Who in the world did that?" And I was like, "Oh, those guys again." So Art does a great job with that program, as we've kind of talked before.
When you talk about their nose guard and really just the whole front.
Nikita Whitlock, yeah.
Yeah, Josh Allen's going to have his hands full, but you had to have a center go up against something like this. I'm pretty sure that you'd probably pick Josh.
There's no question. We're fortunate that Josh is, I think, a very, very athletic center, and sometimes centers can be just big. Bad term. I'm trying to come up with a better one. Maulers. I mean, just get a hold of you, and then it's hard to get loose. That kind of thing. But Josh is physical, but he's athletic. He can move his feet, and so Josh is going to play hard, and Nikita's going to play hard. So it should be fun. They should be a fun matchup.
I just feel like his development I know we talked about this before, but having to be a true freshman going up against Arkansas, and then to see what he's able to do up front,
right.
And help guys like DeVontae over there, just how has his development kind of helped the entire offensive line progress?
Well, I think that because I think it gives, as they all grow up, as we've talked about before, the confidence is part of playing well, and confidence journey comes with maturity. And maturity comes from getting in the weight room and seeing your body change, as you're kind of mentioned with Josh Allen, from 242 pounds to 315 pounds. But also for Josh, Josh is just 20 years old. I don't know if you all know that or not. He's a senior and he's only 20. So his best football is still ahead of him, just because he's still young. I mean, never redshirted. Was young coming out of high school, played his first game at 17 in college. So he's a young guy.
You know all those ages, 52, 20.
Yeah. I get reminded all the time of my age anymore.
Are you talking about, I remember last year talking about how entertaining the offense is, and whenever you're going into the home opener against Baylor, this is going to be a very entertaining game because of the offenses on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of elaborate on what Gene had asked, just about the entertainment of your offense and how all those different things that you've been preparing, talking about them doing different things in spring to give the defense different looks, and the best kind of yet to come, I guess. But how entertaining do you feel like, maybe from a year prior, like last year going to Baylor, to this year, that the offense is to watch and all the different weapons that you have?
Well, I think one of the things that we've because this last week, with Colton not being 100%, we leaned on some other things a little bit more. And while it wasn't complete exposures, there were some things that we did that were a little different, a little bit unique for us this past week. Things that are still in the system. It's just not things that we do all the time. But I am excited. I think Colton's back to where he feels really good and being full speed. I think that all of us on offense are kind of anxious to kind of get back into, okay, these are the things that we do, and here's some of the fun things that we do along with it. And that's been hampered a little bit just because of both quarterbacks being down. That created some, it creates some difficulties when most of your offense is kind of built around the quarterback and things that he does well. and then everybody else kind of fits in around that. And we can get back to some more of those kind of things. Doesn't mean we throw it every snap, because there's some fun things you can do in the run game too, that we play action game that we haven't been able to do the last couple of weeks because of just the nature of kind of what we're dealing with. So I'm looking forward to having fun. Is that your question? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we want to have fun. So anxious to get back out there on the practice field today, and I really like our game plan, as I do every week. But there's some nice wrinkles in it and all those kind of things that we always kind of tend to throw in.
Any other questions for Coach Berry?
Yep.
All right. Thank you all.
DeVontae and our cousins too, by the way. Didn't know if y'all knew that or not.
Are you having like cousins like Gerrand stuff?
No, I mean, we're really cousins.
Oh, really?
Word has it that I missed the family reunion this last summer. I've got to go back to the Berry family reunion.
I was kind of disappointed.
Texas.
First up, running back DeVontae McNeal. Floor is open for questions.
DeVontae, with the running being able to do what they were this last week after kind of being hampered with what OU defense was doing, just how much fun was it to get out there and just kind of go wild?
Oh, it was very fun. Like against OU, we really didn't get that many carries as a unit, but this past week we got numerous carries. Even Nate Metters even got carries, which was good to see, and he's going to be a good player for us in the future.
And kind of like along the same lines to what I asked Coach Berry, the entertainment value of the offense. Last year was just so many different things that y'all were able to do, and it was just really fun to watch. But like you said, like maybe the best is yet to come in this season. Do you feel the same way that y'all kind of held back, and there's even more to come?
I honestly do feel like that. Colton's been kind of nicked up or not able to go full speed lately, so whenever he's able to go full speed, he's very explosive. He can scramble, do all that, get the ball to us. I mean, he's been like, he's really not been the Colton Brown that y'all really saw last year as much as, like, as far as the Arkansas game, but I think he's about 100% right now, and I think our offense is about to get really explosive.
Jarvis has told us in the past that the running back core kind of has a chip on its shoulder as you guys feel like you got to pick up the load considering what happened last year. You feel that? And now that the majority of you are healthy, that you can kind of pick that up?
Oh, yes, sir. I feel like as a unit, we're mostly healthy besides Centarius, and we bring so much different things to the table that, like, some of us have speed, some of us have ability to make people miss, some of us just run you over. Like, all that different things in the game, like coach can just turn around and just throw somebody in, and we all are old enough and mature enough that we know the offense and we just know what to do whenever we get in.
I know you guys haven't looked at a whole lot of video yet, probably awake, but give us an early impression of what you kind of know about the program and the opportunity of stepping off into the ACC.
I watched a little film on Wake. Their defense looked pretty good. I mean, our opponent last week, they obviously look a little better than them. They're, like Coach Berry said, their nose guard, he's really physical. You can see it. I mean, he's like 210 pounds or something like that. He's really physical. I mean, he brings it every time he steps on the field.
Why do they call you Reptar?
Why do they call me Reptar?
Yeah.
When I first got here, Tyler came. He saw me, and my upper body, like, I have small legs, and my upper body is bigger than my legs. So he was like, he just looked at me one day. He was like, I'm just going to start calling you Reptar. So he just had the whole team start calling me Reptar, which is really crazy. It is very.
As long as his little legs can run, right?
Yeah, I mean, they get me from place to place, and I'm not complaining.
Hey, give me your thoughts on playing that early 11:30 kickoff like that. I don't know that you guys would be in North Carolina 24 hours by the time you get there and get back, so it's get in there, take care of business, and get home.
I honestly think it's great that we're going to play 11 because I think that later on 6 o'clock games that I'm so anxious to play that I'm just sitting in the room thinking my mind's going 1,000 miles an hour. I'm just thinking about what I have to do, what I have to get done, and just for it to be like 11:15, wake up, go through walkthrough, eat a little breakfast, then go step on the field, handle business. That'll be great, really great.
Your perspective of that, you see that he's talking about this nose guard being from Texas. He's a redshirt senior. Did you know of him?
I didn't. I didn't know.
Any other questions for DeVontae?
I should have ended on a better question.
Yeah.
Texas is pretty big, I hear.
It's really big, actually.
Yeah, I just heard that.
Well, he
So
played
that's
like
just
the
him.
All-Star game, so I didn't know maybe.
Thank you, DeVontae.
All right. Thank y'all.
I'm off Sunday today.
So,
I don't know who sent you this mysterious email.
Yeah.
I don't know who sent you the mysterious email.
Oh, people that are like, you're wrong. People are hurt. Look at all kinds of stuff.
next up, nose tackle Gerrand Johnson. Floor is open for questions.
So you go down a little bit in the game. Not seriously hurt?
No, that wasn't me that went down, you know. But I'm healthy. The whole defense healthy. We're ready to go.
Talk a little bit about the challenges of this unit to go against an offense like Wake Forest.
I mean, there's any other week to go in, put in the extra hours, do the little bitty things that can add up the big things. It's now. You got to play great assignment football. I mean, we got to take responsibility and ownership this week. Not do nobody else's jobs, just do our jobs and just make the plays that come to us.
I know it's all about conference and stuff, but you guys made a statement with Arkansas, obviously. You got 2 more opportunities to kind of ring that bell this weekend or next Saturday. Is that something you guys think about at all?
Not at all. We're to the point now that we don't pay attention to stickers on the helmets. We're just thankful for another opportunity to get better and try to make ULM the best it can be.
I think that everybody's touting this nose guard for Wake Forest. Does that make you want to bring your game even more to show that you're a pretty good nose guard yourself?
Oh, yeah, most definitely, you know. I wish I go against Josh every day, you know, because me and him, we're to the point, and our competition between each other, we're trying to be the best, make sure we're the best. At the end of Sunday, we always have a conversation, like, what's as good as me? What did he do different? What do I need to work on to make you better? You know, and vice versa. I mean, this is the type of level of competition is at college.
I guess going against Wake Forest, this is your first ACC opponent since you redshirted, or you couldn't play in 2011. So, is it just anything that you're anticipating about going up against an ACC opponent?
No, not at all. Like I said before, stickers, colors, opponents, it doesn't matter. I'm just thankful for the opportunity, try to display what I can do every Saturday. You know, it just doesn't matter. You know, blue, red, green, it can be anybody.
Being a guy from this area, do you have more people now that want to talk to you about ULM football, maybe more so than when you first got here?
Oh, most definitely. You know, I try every chance I get to be a beacon for ULM. I try to bring the local town, let them know, hey, it's okay to be here. It's, you know, it's something special about playing at home. You got more people to know who you are. You know, and again, it's just an extra driving force. Like, you got to do good. You can't be sorry because the people know who you are, and you got to carry your high school legacy, too, because it's big around here.
Sorry about that.
Other questions for Gerrand?
Do you have a cool nickname?
Cool nickname. They call me Juicy around here for some reason. Juicy. Juicy. I think that JD gave me that name. It just stuck with me for some reason. So you see Tyler came too. You see him. He Juicy. What's up? Like, what's up, man?
You're not fond of it.
Not really, because I don't know where they could have got the name from. So, so I was just like, whatever. You just can't help the nicknames you get sometimes.
Says that that's all he does is walk around and assign nicknames.
If you don't know Todd Kane, that guy's a hoot. You know, he got nicknames for everybody, even Coach Berry, and it's.
What's that?
Off camera, I tell you. Oh man.
That was funny.
Thank you, Gerrand.
All right, thank you.